Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. This is virtual class of Pakistan International School Taif. I am Muhammad Yasin. This English class is for the students of grade 5. We are doing chapter 3. This is our 10th video in this class. After today's lesson, we shall be able to write an essay, Qaid-e-Azam. In our today's lesson, we shall learn about the passage given in this chapter. Chapter is 3. We shall learn the meaning and correct pronunciation of new words used in this lesson. First of all, we shall start the essay Qaid-e-Azam. Dear students, you are familiar with the layout of an essay. You know very well, first of all, we give an introduction of the topic, then we write main body of the essay, then we write conclusion. To write Qaid-e-Azam essay, first of all, we shall give introduction of our great leader, who he is. When he was born, we shall write about his early education, then about his higher education. After that, we shall write about his career in life, his struggle to make the Pakistan. Then at the end, we shall mention when did he die, where is his tomb. In this way, we shall finish our essay. Let us see what is there in this essay. Dear students, this is a sample essay which you can see here in front of you. I shall read it for you. I have written this sample for you. Not necessary it is to prepare as it is given here. You can change it, you can add whatever you want, you can leave whatever you want. If you find anything difficult, you can leave it. You can make addition in this essay. Let us read it. Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was the founder of Pakistan. He was born on 25th December 1876 in Karachi. He received his early education in Karachi. He was an intelligent student. He went to England for higher education. Yes, students, in first paragraph we have given his introduction. Then we shall write a little more about him. After returning from England, he joined Congress. Congress was a famous party at that time. He felt that Congress was working for Hindus only. He left it and joined the Muslim League. He guided the Muslims to get Pakistan. Muslims got Pakistan on 14th August 1947. He was a true Muslim. He was a great leader. He died in 1948. His tomb is in Karachi. We shall always remember him as a great leader. Dear students, these are the things written here in this essay about our great leader Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. As I told you before, you can change the things which are mentioned here. The language is simple, sentence structures are simple. I don't find anything which I think is not easy for you. You are familiar with most of the things given here in this essay. Even if you want to change, you can change. You have this option. Dear students, this is the essay to prepare for the examination. You will learn it and write it in your notebook. Let us move forward. Dear students, before starting our lesson 3 in our active English book, let us read the following words which we shall find in our lesson. Dear students, audience. Audience means the people gathered to watch or listen. Harbor. Dear students, harbor is area where ships can shelter. Ships stay there to load, to unload things. That is called harbor. Port. Port is a town or city with harbor. Where there is harbor in a city, that is called port. Pour. Pour means to make liquid flow from a container. If there is some liquid in a container, when we pour it, when we flow it from the container to any other pot or any other container, that is called pour. Spoil means to change something that is good into bad. That is called spoil. We shall find these words in our lesson. Yes, students, let us start our lesson. This is the first page of chapter 3. It looks like this. I have divided it into parts to increase the visibility. In this way, it will be easier for us to read. Let us start reading. The name of our chapter is The Biggest Ship in the World. The biggest ship in the world. You can see it in the picture. When she was built in 1940, the Queen Elizabeth was the biggest ship in the world. At that time when it was made, it was the biggest one. Her length was 309 meters and her width was 35/1/2 meters. She used to sail across the Atlantic Ocean from England to America with 3,450 people aboard her. Out of these 3,450 people, 2,200 of these were passengers whose rooms were as comfortable as hotel rooms. There were also 1,250 sailors to sail the ship. Yes, dear students, this is the introduction of the ship that we have read. Let us move to the next paragraph. The Queen Elizabeth was like a small town. There were dining rooms and restaurants. There were 2 swimming pools. There were shops. There was a post office for passengers to buy postage stamps and post letters. There was a bank for passengers to leave their money. There was even a cinema with comfortable seats for a small audience. Our daily newspaper was printed on board the ship. There was a band to play music for the passengers. Yes, students, this was paragraph number 2. This is written about the facilities which were provided to the passengers on board in the ship. Let us move to the next paragraph. During the Second World War, the Queen Elizabeth was used to carry soldiers, sailors, and airmen where they were needed. The enemy tried to attack her and sink her, but they never succeeded. She did not have any guns like the enemy warships, but she had a big advantage. She was very fast. They could not catch her. She has never where they thought she was. Many times they tried to catch her when she left port, but they were never successful. She used to leave harbor secretly. No one knew when she was going to leave. Yes, students, these are some of the qualities of this ship that we read in this paragraph. Let us move to the next. After the war, the Queen Elizabeth became a passenger ship again. For many years, she carried people from England to America, taking only 4 days for the journey. Yes, students, it was taking only 4 days while going from England to America. But then she grew old and there were not so many passengers. More and more people made the journey by air, which was quicker. Yes, students, you know very well, journey by air is quicker than the ship. Let us move to the next part. No one knew what to do with the Queen Elizabeth. At last she was bought by Mr. C.Y. Tong, whose home is in Hong Kong. He had a wonderful idea. He wanted to use the Queen Elizabeth as a big school for young men and women. They would be able to travel around the world while they were studying. He changed the ship's name. He called her the Seawise University. Seawise University. Yes, students, in this paragraph we come to know about the person who bought it and what did he want. He wanted to make it a school for the young people who could travel it all over the world while studying. Yes, students, let us move to the next paragraph. Yes, this is the last paragraph also. Let us see what is given here. He took the ship to Hong Kong for repairs. Yes, the ship was now very old. He took it to Hong Kong to repair it, and his intention was to change it into a school for the young people who could travel all around the world while studying. But while she was being repaired, she caught fire. Yes, students, it is very dangerous to repair a vehicle. Usually it catches fire, even if it is a car, a truck, a bus. When it is repaired, especially during welding process, it catches fire. The same thing happened with the ship also. When it was being repaired, it caught fire. Smoke and flames poured out from many parts of the big ship. The fire was too big to be put out, and soon most of the inside of the ship had been destroyed. Then the big ship turned over onto the one side. Yes, it turned over its one side. Oil began to pour out into the sea, where there was a hole in the ship's side. Everyone was afraid that the oil would spread to Hong Kong's beaches and spoil them by making them sticky with oil. But this was not allowed to happen. So the bigger ship in the world ended her life lying on her side in Hong Kong harbor. Yes, students, we have read the lesson. What are the main points here in this paragraph? We come to know that it caught fire when it was being repaired. Then it turned on its side, and most of the parts of its inside were destroyed. Oil began to pour out of the ship, but it was stopped as it is mentioned here. It was pouring out through a hole in its side. Hong Kong's beaches were saved by stopping the oil which was pouring out of the ship. Yes, dear students, we have read the lesson. I hope you have noted main points. Noted means you remember main points which we read in this lesson. That will help us to do our exercises. Let us move forward. Dear students, this is exercise 1. This is first exercise. This is true false. I shall read the instructions for you. Here it is written, put a tick by the sentences that are true and a cross by the ones that are untrue. We shall check all these sentences one by one and try to find out which ones are true and which ones are untrue. Let us start. For example, the first one is the Queen Elizabeth was once the biggest ship in the world. Let us see it is true or not. I have arranged it like this for you. The exercise is same, parts are same, but I have arranged them like this to write true or false. The first part is the Queen Elizabeth. The Queen Elizabeth was once the biggest ship in the world. Dear students, to do each part, we shall refer to the lesson, and even if we know, we shall check the answer from the lesson. Here is written Queen Elizabeth was once the biggest ship in the world. Let us see what is mentioned in the lesson. Dear students, if we see here in the lesson, we can see what is written here. When she was built in 1940. When was it built? It was built in 1940. The Queen Elizabeth was the biggest ship in the world. Yes, at that time, when it was built, it was the biggest one in the world. This means this part in the exercise is true. We shall put a tick at the end of this part. Let us move to the next one. Here is written, she used to carry 3,450 passengers. 3,450 passengers. Passengers means the people who are there in the ship to travel from one city or one country to another city or to another country. Let us see. Dear students, we can see here she used to sail across the Atlantic Ocean from England to America with 3,450 people. Dear students, in our exercise there is written passengers. Here is written 3,450 people aboard her. All these are not passengers. There are 2,200 of these were passengers. Only passengers were 2,200. In our exercise it is written 3,450 were passengers, but here is written only 2,200 of these were passengers, whose rooms were as comfortable as hotel rooms. There were also 1,250 sailors to sail the ship. In fact, 3,450 people were there, but all of them were not passengers. Some of them were sailors. Only 2,200 were passengers. Yes, students, here is written 3,450 passengers. That is wrong information. This is not true. We shall put a cross at the end of this part. Let us move to the next. There was plenty for the passengers to do. A lot of things were there for the passengers to do. Let us move to the lesson and try to find out. The Queen Elizabeth was like a small town. There were dining rooms, restaurants, there were 2 swimming pools, there were shops, there was a post office for the passengers to buy postage stamps and post letters, there was a bank. So many things are mentioned here. What does it mean? There was a lot for the passengers to do. This means this part of the exercise is also true. Let us put a tick at the end of this part which says there was plenty for the passengers to do. This part is true. Let us move to the next. When the Second World War came, the Queen Elizabeth was given guns. The Queen Elizabeth was given guns. Let us move to the lesson once again. Dear students, we can see here the enemy tried to attack her and sink her, but they never succeeded. She did not have any guns. What is given here? She did not have any guns. What is given in our exercise? In our exercise, it is written, when the Second World War came, the Queen Elizabeth was given guns. But what did we find in the lesson? In the lesson it is given, it has no guns. This means this part is also false. This is also not true. Let us move to the next. She was never attacked by enemy ships. She was never attacked by enemy warships. Let us check. Dear students, we can see here, the enemy tried to attack her and sink her, but they never succeeded. It was not attacked. They tried only, but it was never attacked. She did not have any guns. Like she had a big advantage, she was very fast. Dear students, come to the exercise again. Here is written, she was never attacked by enemy ships. Yes, this is true. Enemy warships tried to attack it, but they could not find it. It was never where they thought it was. They tried to follow it, but they could not follow it. It was so fast to travel in the sea. That is why we shall say she was never attacked by the enemy warships. Yes, this part is true. It was never attacked. They tried, but they could not attack. Let us move to the next. She was a very fast ship. We read it just now. Let us see once again. She had a big advantage that she was very fast. Yes, it was very fast. What does it mean? This part is also true. Yes, students. We have done first 6 parts of this exercise. There are total 12 parts in this exercise. Let us move to the next 6 parts which are there in this exercise. There are 6 more parts in this exercise. Yes, students, in G part it is written, she could go from England to America and back in 4 days. Do you understand? Dear students, it is important to understand what is written here. She could go from England to America and back. Back means from England to America and then from America to England in 4 days. Let us check. Was this ship able to go from England to America and then America to England in 4 days? Dear students, it is written, after the war, Queen Elizabeth became passenger ship again. For many years, it carried people from England to America, taking only 4 days for the journey. Dear students, it is written it was taking 4 days from England to America. From England to America, it was taking 4 days. But it was taking England to America and coming back 8 days. It was not taking 4 days to go from England to America and then America to England also. Dear students, it is important to understand, here is written back. England to America and back. This means to go and come back. To go and come back means one complete round. It was taking 4 hours for one way distance, for one way. It was taking 4 days to go from America, to go from England to America, and it was taking 4 more days to go from America to England. But here it is written, she could go from England to America and back in 4 days, that is not true. That is why we shall put a cross at the end of this sentence. Let us move next. Travel by air is quicker than travel by sea. All of us know very well. We can see it here in the lesson also. More and more people made travel by air, which is quicker. Journey by air is quicker. Yes, this is true statement. We shall put a tick at the end of this statement. Next is Mr. Tang wanted the Queen Elizabeth to stay in Hong Kong. Did he want Queen Elizabeth to stay in Hong Kong? I don't think so. Let us see. We can see at last she was bought by C.Y. Tang, whose home is in Hong Kong. He had a wonderful idea. He wanted to use the Queen Elizabeth as a big school for young men and women. They would be able to travel around the world while they were studying. Mr. C.Y. Tang bought it. His intention was that the Queen Elizabeth will travel all around the world. But what is given in our exercise? It is given Mr. Tang wanted the Queen Elizabeth to stay in Hong Kong. Did he want? No, he did not want. That is why this statement is false. The ship was completely destroyed by fire. We have read the lesson. We can check it once again. Was it destroyed completely by the fire? The fire was too big to be put out, and soon most of the inside of the ship had been destroyed. Not the whole was destroyed. In the exercise it is written the whole, but here is written most of the inside. We can check here again. The ship was completely destroyed by fire. This is not correct statement. Most part of the inside was destroyed, but not completely. This statement is also false statement. She turned over so that the bottom was on top. Was its bottom on top? No, its bottom was not at top. Then the big ship turned over on to one side. It was turned on one side. Its bottom did not become up. Is that clear? That is why we shall say this is also a false statement. Here it is, the oil did not spoil Hong Kong's beaches. Yes, I think this is true. We can see it here also. Then the big ship turned over. Oil began to pour out into the sea where there was a hole in the ship's side. Everyone was afraid that the oil would spread to Hong Kong's beaches and spoil them by making them sticky with oil. But this was not allowed to happen. What does it mean? It did not spoil the beaches of Hong Kong. The oil did not spoil. What does it mean? This statement is also true. Dear students, these were the things for today's lesson. Your homework will be that you will learn and write the essay Qaid-e-Azam. As we discussed in the beginning of the lesson, it is so easy. Simple sentences are taken for you to learn and write. After that, you will read the whole passage given in this chapter, in this lesson, and then you will do exercise 1. I shall show you the essay once again. You can stop the video here, note it in your notebook and learn it. Dear students, this is exercise 1, that is for you to do in your notebook. This is the solution of first part of this exercise, and this is the solution of second part of this exercise. I have divided it into 2 parts. You will do this exercise also. Dear students, that is all from our today's lesson. See you later in our new lesson. Goodbye.